Hello and welcome to April's Bookhaul. Because I am a bookaholic or a bibliophile and I have no self-control. Because who needs self-control when you have a credit card? So let's start with the books that a book that I can't quite remember if it was recommended or if I just stumbled upon it. The Diviners, the first book. Apparently there's the first book in a series, I believe is at least 3 books. I mean, they got the Layer of Dreams and Before the Devil Breaks You in the back. So this is a book by Libba Bray. In short, it's about apparently a young lady named Oneill, who goes to New York in 1926, or has been exiled from her boring old hometown. So that's interesting. Why is she's being exiled? Is she being weird or something? Which she is perfectly fine with. She is absolutely ecstatic about going to New York. I mean, it's 1926, so it's filled with speakeasies, Ziegfeld girls, and Rackets pickpockets. So she's very happy about going. The only thing is that she has to stay with her uncle, who is apparently very eccentric with an unhealthy obsession with the occult. Shenanigans apparently ensue, and she finds out that she can actually help, and it does sound a lot more interesting than what I'm trying to say, because it starts dealing with maybe you should just read from the back, because apparently she has a supernatural power that has only brought her trouble, but again she finds out that she can actually apparently help catch a serial killer. So this is a 1920s New York historical fiction. It has mystery and supernatural. That is very, very interesting to me. I'm usually not the fondest of historicals because, I mean, history is fine. But I am so much more into just clear out fantasy. But at the same time, for some reason I find this book interesting. The cover also is really, really pretty. And I don't know, something about the fact that the pages aren't like straight. They are, what do you call it? Do you call it beveled? Like that. I like that because that makes doing this a whole lot easier. Also, it's really soft. It is really thick. How many pages are they? Oh, here it is. 468 pages. So you know, fairly nice and thick. I just can't remember if I just stumbled upon it or if I saw someone recommend it. And I dislike the fact that I don't remember that part. But mainly because I have the same problem with the next book, the Trick Mirror by Tolentino. I think this was recommended by someone, and again, can't remember. But I cannot remember, and that annoys me. So this is a collection of essays, the Millennial Susan Sontag. So I am really curious about this book. I do feel like someone was talking about it, saying it was rather maybe dark and depressing. So a bar because I am your stereotypical millennial who just goes, ooh, disturbing. Link. I mean, reading from the back is like, Trick Mirror is an enlightening, unforgettable trip through the river of self-delusion that surges just beneath the surface of our lives. In each essay, Tolentino writes about the cultural prism, the rise of the nightmare social internet, the advent of scamming as a definitive millennial ethos, the literary heroine's journey from brave to blank to bitter. I mean, the punitive dream of optimization, which insists that everything, including our bodies, should become more efficient and beautiful until we die. Okay, actually, I think this might be I hope this is up my alley because that just sounds interesting. So I am a self-proclaimed pessimistic dreamer. I love dreaming. I love beautiful dreams. But I am such a pessimist. I mean, some people might call it being realistic. I don't feel like it's realistic to look at the world and go like, yeah, it's all gonna die. I mean, yeah, that's gonna happen, but that's a really pessimistic approach. So I prefer to style myself as a pessimistic dreamer. And something about this book, again, just like with the diviners, something about this is interesting. But I cannot remember if I just stumbled upon it or someone recommended it. But this month I've been fairly even-handed with both fiction and non-fiction, and I am honestly a little bit proud of myself. So one of my favorite... So she says, Racing of Ingary. Deanna Wynne Jones. My absolute first introduction to her was the Studio Ghibli Howl's Moving Castle. My first literature knowledge of her comes from this book, The Tough Guide to Fantasyland, which I adore. This book has saved my sanity so many times. It's a little worn. I faced the sun a few times, but the spine is not broken. I mean, the cover is a little folded and all that, but this book, I love it. I love it. I love it. That book has been such an inspiration for me many times. If I wrote down half the stories that I had daydreamed about. But I've never actually read her stories apart from Tough Guide to Fantasyland. So I bought this series. Cannot remember what the official name of it is, but it's Howl's Moving Castle, House of Many Ways, and Castle in the Air. And I've been wanting to read these books, or at least Howl's Moving Castle, but then I found out there's Trilogy, and I have a thing about collecting series. I always wanted to read Howl's Moving Castle, and I mean, judging from the Tough Guide, hopefully it's let's see, this was first published in Great Britain in... Oh no! It's first published by Matthew and Children's Book Ltd in 1986. This book is 2 years older than I am. A little bit late to the party, aren't I? This is like taking the fantasy tropes and the fairy tale tropes and twisting them quite a bit. And it does sound like something that I would be pleased to read about. I mean, like, I read the Discworld novels. I'm raised on those, so hopefully, this will be books that I can reread again and again like I do with the Discworld. So, on to the non-fiction. So, I'm insecure when it comes to poetry, so I got some interesting books about how to write poetry. We got Ted Hughes' Poetry in the Making. And we got Stephen Fry, The Old Less Traveled. And we got Mary Oliver, A Poetry Handbook. And I mean, I learned how to write poetry in Icelandic years and years ago. Dear Lord, I could not tell you half of the things that I learned when I was a kid. But I want to learn, like, English version. It's probably pretty much the same, just, you know, in different, but still, I want to. And because I'm trying to write, or, you know, at least be a better writer myself, so I've got books on how to kill my characters, how to poison my characters, how to, you know, write about fighting and all that, and now I've found a book called Hurting Your Characters. My characters beware, I've got this book. And the last book, I've actually been wanting to get this one since last year. This is Ungovernable by Therese Oneill. So I got her previous book last year. That is called Unmentionable, and it's all about femininity in, like, the Victorian area, I want to say. And I love that book because that book took a little bit different approach. Instead of being like, yeah, this, like a school book or something like that, she took the approach of the author taking the reader on a time travel. So kids are alive. Good news. Kind of funny because this is actually about how I think the Victorians tried to raise their children. In Ungovernable, Therese Oneill conducts an unforgettable tour through the backward, pseudo-scientific and downright bizarre childbearing and parenting fashions of the Victorians, whose useful advice includes How to be sure you're not too ugly, sickly or stupid to breed. Which positions and room decor will help you conceive a son. Hide your lamps. How much beer, wine, cyanide and heroin to consume while pregnant. How to select the best peasant teeth for your child. Which foods won't turn your children into sexual deviants, and so much more. The Victorians had so many bizarre beliefs, and we do know that. I mean, there's a lot of people nowadays who have bizarre beliefs as well, but like, Victorians were very interesting. So these are all the books that I got now in April. I am not ashamed. Like, I am very, very excited about finally reading Diana Wynne Jones, because I haven't. There's so many books that I want to read. I am surprisingly excited about Trick Mirror, because I don't really read a lot of essays, and just flipping right now I saw Girl Boss with an exclamation mark, or quotation marks, and I think I'm gonna start reading this one right now. But yeah, that is my book haul for April. I hope you liked watching this video, and I hope you will watch some more of my channel. So, take care, I'll see you later. Bless.